Alright, welcome to the Bridge of Life. What I call the Bridge of Life is basically your bridge that is built on categories of your life. So the end goal is to have a level 10 life, basically, that on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 100, a 10 wouldn't be that good. Alright, so we will be covering in the Bridge of Life these categories. So it's health, relations, assets, and spirituality. And under health, it can be divided in physical and mental health. On relationships, it can be divided in the love life and your other relationships. Your assets is time and money, very important assets of your life. Spirituality is about growing and contributing, but also about feeling connected with the world or with the universe or with the higher intelligence or with God or whatever you want to call it. That's where spirituality comes in. And we will discover where you are now in these areas. Alright, so I will pause the video right now and come back with showing you the Bridge of Life. Here we are. This is the Bridge of Life. As you can see, we have these areas of life. And this template you will get, you can make your own copy of it, and you will have all the templates that you need in order to complete the bamboo snack kit. And all you need to do here is you need to fill in on each of these areas, on your body, your emotions, your love life, your connections, your calling, your money, your time, and your spirituality. You need to fill in on a scale of 1 to 10 on where you are at. So then you need to know, like, what does a 1 mean, what does a 10 mean? Well, let me go through each of these areas. So a 1 for your body, well, what do you think it would be? 1 for, everybody measures on a different scale, but for me, my body on a level 1 would be, I'm near death. I'm very low energy, I can barely get out of bed. I feel like absolute crap, pardon my language, but that would be a 1 for me. A 10 would be, I feel vibrant with energy. I have more energy than I need. I have abundance in that. I feel and look fantastic. I have the body that I want to have. I inspire others by how well I take care of my body and the energy that I have. Everybody, well, yeah, maybe a little jealous. No, but when you look in the mirror, you're like, nice, you did that, awesome. That would be a number 10 body for me. What is it for you? You can determine for yourself, but I think that's a pretty good scale to be in between, to measure in between. So on a level 1 to 10, where are you right now? I would say for me it would be like a 7 or an 8 on my way of measuring. For your emotions, a level 1 emotional area of life, what would you think that is? And what did you think a level 10 is in your case? Now you can pause the video here and write it down if you want. So you can first think for yourself before you get the answers that I give, the 1 and the 10. But for me, 1 in emotions would be depressed, living in depression for 99% of the time, feeling burned out, feeling angry all the time, or in like the worst possible states you can imagine all the time, every day, all day. And a 10 would be the opposite. So being in absolute ecstatic, awesome state. So in awe, in ecstasy or playfulness or happiness or joy or compassion, passionate. And you feel these kinds of emotions for 95% of the time. Because negative emotions are part of life, but you don't have to stick around in them. I learned this from Tony Robbins. I don't know if you know him. He's like #1 world best coach, therapist. He's like the emotional master, in my opinion. But that would be the difference in between. So being depressed all the time or being joyful all the time. 95% of the time. 100% is just not possible. You don't really want that either, because without negative emotions, what would the positive ones even mean, right? We're getting a little philosophical, but let's go on to love life. So love life, on a scale of 1, would be that you don't have a love life, or you don't want one, or you are very hurt, or your love life is really down the drain, and you are just stuck in that area. I think that would be a 1 for me. And a 10 would be that you have a passionate, beautiful, ever-growing relationship that keeps on getting better and better. That while you are growing, the relationship is growing, and the person you are with is growing too, and it's getting constantly better, and you just can't possibly imagine it getting better, but it does. That's a level 10 love life, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So again, if you want to have different definitions of that, be my guest. It's your life, but these are mine, and I think they are a good scale. Connections, your relations, basically. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think a 1 is, and what do you think a 10 is? You can pause the video again if you like. But for me, connections on a level 1 would be feeling like you have no friends at all, or actually a lot of enemies but no friends. Would be even worse, right? So that would be a level 1, where people just hate you and you don't have any friends and no people that you really like. You're alone. Not a good place to be. And a 10 would be you will have amazing connections with all kinds of people, going into really quality depth connections, but also a lot of cool connections that a little more on the surface, but it's still epic, and you're just having fun with a lot of people. Your life is being magnified because of your connections. That will be a 10. Your calling. This is basically your business, your mission, how you're doing on that front. And I think a level 1 there is not necessarily not having one. I think it's having given up on finding one. So not thinking that you have something to give, that you think that there's no meaning to your life. You don't feel like there's something you can do, and you've just accepted that and you've given up on that. That would be a level 1 for the calling for me. A level 10 for the calling would be that you are in line, in tune with what you believe that you have to do here on this earth. So that you absolutely feel like you are on the right path. You know where you are, you know where you've been, and you know where you're headed, and you are excited about where you're headed. You're excited about what your calling is. You are really into it, in flow. Alright, next one is money. For me, a level 1 money, or 1 in money would be not having no money, but having a lot of bad debt, that you are crushed by, you are trapped by credit, and or maybe you're even bankrupt, or the worst possible scenario with money you can possibly imagine. Maybe being having borrowed money from the mafia, and if they no. Okay, you get the picture. So a level 10 is having the money that you need, being financially free, being able to survive even if you stop working, have your money work for you. Those are all level 10 situations. Abundance in money. Right. Then we move on to time. Time on level 1. So on a 1, I imagine time that you are just going with the wind, or how do you say it otherwise, that you basically live by the demands of other people. You don't have your own agenda, you just do what is told, and you are completely controlled by other people's demands, by your fears, by everything you don't want to be controlled at. You will never, almost never spend time in the zone working on what you actually want to do. And 10 would be the opposite of that. So being in the flow most of the time, being able to do whatever you want to do, and being excited about how to spend your time each and every day, each and every moment, and are very deliberate on what you want to do, why you want to do it, and then how you want to do it. That would be a 10 in time. Spirituality on a 1, for me, I think that it is the most this is the one most open to interpretation, so pause the video and think about 1 to 10 for you. But I think there are some good things if you say, like, if you're on a 1 on spirituality, you're not growing, you're not giving. You don't feel connected with a higher power. You feel like you're all alone, scared, and there's no purpose to the world, and that your life doesn't have any meaning. And on the other side of that scale, for me, is that you do feel those things. You are growing, you're giving, you feel connected, and you feel like there is more to this world than your mind can perceive. There are things that you don't understand, and be in awe, and in how do you say it? Be very grateful about the life that you have been given. I think that's a good way to discuss it. Now, if you fill all these things out and you see, well, okay, where am I at? Then this graph beneath it will pop up, and that is your bridge of life. So your bridge of life goes up and down based on the numbers that you put in. And it's a lot easier to walk over this path towards your goals if you have a stable bridge. So for example, this would be a lot stabler, a bridge, if this would be a 7 or an 8. If they are two places different from each other, then okay, here you could probably still walk up, but here it gets more challenging and challenging. So if your bridge is nice and even, you have a balanced life, and it's a very smooth ride to wherever you want to go. So that's the bridge of life, and that's your bridge of life. This changes over time, of course. And the higher your bridge is, the higher goals you can reach, right? So that's the bridge of life. That was the first lesson, and I would ask you now and I would give you an assignment to fill this out. Don't think too much on it. Just do it quickly, and don't be like a stickler about it. Just think, okay, that's 1, that's 10. Now fill them out and see how your bridge is doing and where you're lacking. And I would advise you, if you notice, this is already value, and then if you find your lowest area, that's the one you want to work on to get to the rest of the levels. Don't focus on all of them at the same time, you don't need to. But take the average, and that's where you want to put all of your things below the average, where starting with the one that is lowest, that's your area that you want to focus on. Alright, thank you for watching, and in the next lesson I will cover the personal SWOT. And the personal SWOT is where you will discover your power and your pitfalls. So your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. And this is maybe not new to you. You might have had this on your university, or you've seen it somewhere before. But what is new is that I've added also to scale it on a level 1 to 10. So if you add, like, for example, one of your strengths is confidence. Like, Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? And that's how you can rank basically your opportunities and your strengths and on what level you're at, right? Okay. I'll show you more in the next video and I'll see you there. Thanks, bye.